Hey.
What it do?
Yeah.
This is a fun episode. This is a crossover.
Yeah.
Since we have been little kids, the three of us, we have talked about making music, just geeked out about like our love of metal together, and we're finally here. We're just going to get into it and what TWICEBΩRN is and what it represents. And I mean, I'm very excited.
Me too. I'm super pumped. If you guys can't tell by the title, this episode is about our band TWICEBÅRN, which we're super pumped about. And Jeremy's here.
TWICEBÅRN, baby.
Jeremy's here.
I like it.
Yeah. So just really quick to give a summary of like how TWICEBÅRN kind of came about. Like we started making music. Well, really, I just started like making stuff on my computer. I had like a 2 or 3 year span where I wasn't really making metal music because I felt like I didn't have the right equipment or whatever. You know, I have a Fender Strat.
Right.
Which for anybody out there that knows...
It's a jazzy metal.
Exactly.
It's a jazz guitar.
It is.
Basically.
It's like, you know, for
like really thin strings, right?
Well, the strings you can... I had to put some fat strings onto the Strat to get it to sound good, but it's just the hardware of a Strat, the way that it's built, the types of pickups that are used. It's meant for like, you know, like bluesy stuff or like rock stuff or jazz or that kind of stuff. So I never thought that I'd be able to make metal music on it. Mm-hmm. And you know, y'all remember my white guitar, right?
Oh yeah, It was a Schecter, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Schecter.
It was the Schecter. So like way back in high school, I got that Schecter and me and Ryan were like, we're making music, dude. We're going to be in a band. It's going to be sick.
And I was playing WoW.
Yeah, Jeremy was a little preoccupied with WoW, but you know what? We were like,
But
that's
you
cool.
know, the truth there, Jeremy always the whole time was like, I want to learn guitar. He was
Yeah.
always
Oh, yeah.
interested.
Yeah, the interest was always there. And
Yeah.
of course, like me just howling in the car by myself,
Which we didn't know about.
trying to learn how to do all
Yeah,
that.
exactly. We didn't know about that until much later. But at any rate, my apartment flooded like, you know, 4 or 5 years ago or something like that. And my white guitar got destroyed. So
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I know. Rip, dude, to the goat. So I only had the Fender Strat.
Shout out to White Lightning.
White Lightning. I don't think I ever named it, but you know what? Posthumously, it's
Isn't
White
that
Lightning.
a Metallica album?
Huh?
Isn't that a Metallica song? Or
You're thinking of Ride the Lightning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ride
I'm
the
not. I
Lightning.
don't go that heavy with Metallica.
It's okay. It's okay. You get points for trying. Okay. You get points for trying, Ryan.
I tried.
But anyway, yeah. So I had the Fender Strat for a couple of years, and you know, because I had that, I got it because I wanted to have 2 different vibes. I wanted to have like the heavy metal guitar, and then I wanted to be able to just like jam to lo-fi or like bluesy stuff or whatever. But when the Schecter got destroyed, I was like, well, there goes the metal. But, you know, I guess I really think it's because of us doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And me kind of seeing like, you're really only limited by your own like belief or outlook or whatever. You know, we made this podcast that we're super proud of just with like just equipment that we just bought. You know, it's not the most high dollar amazing equipment or whatever, but we're super proud of it. And I was like, damn, you know, if that's true, then I could probably find a way to make it work and do something I'm proud of. So long story short, I started making music, and then I told Ryan, and he was like, oh, bet. It's a big bet. We're about to do this. So we wrote all these songs. We're making them. And then we had an idea to get Jeremy on a song.
As a feature.
As a feature.
A guest, like a special feature.
Exactly.
About 5 months ago, we were talking about this. And we were like, dude, he could probably scream. He does, you know, stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, because that's the thing about Jeremy. Jeremy, like, one of your favorite things to do is just make weird noises.
Just like I have no impulse control.
That ADHD runs strong in the family.
If I get the feeling to scream or like do something weird, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it's just
It's funny. Everyone loves it.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Everyone loves it.
But he would be making these noises that like are like screams. He'd be being silly
in a
about
funny
it.
way.
Right, but me and Ryan would look at each other and be like,
he has a
that's kinda
gift to
good.
make that sound. Like maybe we can carve this.
Exactly.
So Nick and I were talking one day on the phone, and I was like, dude, how would you feel if we, like, you know, hit up my brother Jeremy and my cousin Warren? Because my cousin, you know, Warren's been on the show, so they know who Warren is if they've seen that. I was like, dude, Warren could scream. Warren, me and you and Warren used to be in one of our thousands of little shell bands, you know, that we had when we were kids.
Yeah.
We were technically in a band with Warren all those years ago.
Yeah.
And I knew he could scream. Never heard Jeremy actually do it. And I was like, well, let's get them both on a feature. And Nick goes, no, even better. Let's get Jeremy in the band.
Yeah, because I was like, and I told you this on the phone. I was like, the only thing I could imagine cooler than me and Ryan making music is me and Ryan and Jeremy making music.
Yeah,
true, dude.
Like to me, that was the only thing that could make the TWICEBÅRN project even more exciting. You know, I didn't want to just bring in like whoever, like, oh, we should probably find like another guitarist or find another bassist or find somebody who can do vocals.
Bring somebody you're comfortable.
100%.
Somebody we vibe with and we know.
And we also always like the same. It's like in metal, for those of you who don't know, there's like a million subgenres.
Yeah, it's really pretentious.
You listen to Screamo?
It's kind of like rap. It's like the opposite of rap. Like there's a culture behind it, although rap is way bigger and more popular.
Sure.
It's got there's, I don't know all the cultures of rap like that. I'm not super heavy into rap, but there's like trap, there's
hip hop,
there's all these
there's a lot.
subgenres, and metal is like probably worse.
Oh, it is. It absolutely. Metal, okay, so if you don't listen to metal, but you do listen to like electronic music, it's the same exact vibe with electronic. Because people, I mean,
And
dude,
they're snobby about it.
they're so snobby about it. It's like, dude, that's not drum and bass, that's jungle.
And they don't even make it.
Exactly. So it can be, but the reason I say this is we all liked, like, we were in the same pocket. We liked all the exact same vibes.
Deathcore, metalcore, a little bit of that post-hardcore with the singing. Like Devil Wears Prada.
Woe is me.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, come on, that's like.
We came as Romans.
And I'm not gonna lie, I dabbled
Rest in
into
peace.
grindcore when I was in high school.
Sure.
I mean, there's some good
Like
stuff.
what, like Attila?
No, I mean,
Attack Attack wasn't grindcore.
No, I'm
Attack?
sorry. I'm thinking
That's more the
crab.
post-
I was
Bro,
thinking
you know
more
what-
crab.
you know what's grindcore? Like the very first ever Impending Doom album, Nail
Yeah.
Dead Risen, and I liked it.
That album's great.
Or like,
Depressing though.
yeah, it is a little
like-
Impending Doom.
kind of like original. What's that band called? Bring Me the Horizon, a little bit, like super heavy, filthy.
And wasn't I Wrestled a Bear once?
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
like
yeah. With a lot of gravity blasts,
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
it's like it's close to like Swedish black metal in the
Yeah,
tempo
honestly,
yeah.
it is. But anyway, you know, we all like the same vibe of metal.
Oh, I
So-
buttered the bread with butter.
Yeah, that's another one.
That's another one.
See, I never got super into the grindcore stuff, but looking back, some of it's like, oh no, this isn't bad. This isn't. I was like super picky. You remember?
Yeah.
I was super picky about it. But anyway, so when the idea came up with the Jeremy thing, it was like a no-brainer. We were like, if he's in, that's a wrap. Like, that's it. TWICEBÅRN is now THRICEBÅRN. It's not really, but it's still TWICEBÅRN, but like we got the three-piece now.
Yeah.
Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji up in here.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You know what's funny is like Ryan hit me up one day through text and was like, "Yo, you trying to like scream in our band?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, dude." And he was like, "Send me a snippet." And I was like, "I got you." Like 3 days later, I sent him a random snippet, and he called me immediately and was like, "Dog, well, is that you?"
Yeah, that shit was
Like, yeah,
gas,
he's like, "Send it to
bro.
Nick." I got you, and I never sent it to you.
Oh, well, dude, that's
I'm
I
a
called
man of
Nick.
Nick, I was like, I heard a
Yeah,
clip.
you are.
I'm a man.
We're like, dude, we got it. We got
It's
it. He's
real.
doing it. It's real, yeah. And I mean, I knew though, like all the silly noises he makes. I was like, dude, bro, that's
My thinking was like to get him as a feature. I was like, how hard could it be to like push yourself for like, you know, a 20-second line? And Nick was like, no. We get him in the band. I'd never heard him scream at that point, and I was like, let's do it. And then I texted you. I was kind of being sneaky to like text you to be like gauge your interest. And I was like, but let me hear a clip. I want to see what it sounds like. And then I got the clip. It was game over, and we got to work. And so I guess we could shift into this. So when we started the podcast, Alex, Nick, and I, and obviously, you know, Jenny and Casey and all of us involved, in December of 2020 was when we all confirmed, and everybody was like, we're gonna do it was when you were at my apartment for Christmas. It was like the week before Christmas. I remember we made that drink. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Coquito?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a big weekend, and we had Christmas festivities, and we had been talking about a podcast kind of, but like I wasn't 100% on it. And it was that weekend we came up with the name, and we were like, let's do this. Let's put it out in the summer. This is for real. Mm-hmm. And we started working on the podcast for like 6 months, parking all the websites, getting everything branded and figuring out what the vision was and all that. And in the meantime was when we also said, we're not going to rush because podcast comes first, but we're also going to make a band.
Yeah.
So for 2 years now, we've known we were going to do this, and we've taken our sweet time with it. So the point being is, for the last 2 years, we've been working on 6 tracks.
Yep.
And then in the last 4 months or 5 months, Jeremy's been involved. And
It's more like 3 months.
Yeah, it hadn't been too long.
yeah, really.
2023.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
At this point, we haven't said yet, but at this point, the EP is out.
Yes.
The EP is out, so go and check it out.
So
Go
for
listen
to
to it.
wondering why is Jeremy only on 3 of the 6 tracks, that's why.
yeah.
The
Because
timing issue.
The
Exactly.
timing, because Jeremy came into the equation permanently after we were mostly done with the EP.
Yeah, we did the feature on Katrini, which most
That was the second single.
yeah, exactly. A lot of people have heard it. That was our song about Odin. We did the feature, and then we were like, this is real good. So we definitely need to get him on more songs. So we did as much as we could for this project, but going forward is Jeremy's the vocalist.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, it's been really fun. I never expected that I would enjoy that as much as I did.
You really dig it?
It was funny. The first time I texted Ryan, I was like, "Dog, I can't have anybody around me doing this.
Right.
This is this
Like
is
being
new
in
to
the
me,
room.
right?" And I think after the second time, I texted him. I was like, I could do that with an audience. I could do that with some people. It's kind of cool.
An audience of 10,000 people.
Yeah. I was honestly the same way. So let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
To our first band, or one of our first bands, Watching the Watchers.
Watching the Watchers.
When I first started recording
We were
vocals,
16 and 17.
Yeah, we were young, and we were trying to make it happen. But when I first started doing the vocals, you can ask Ryan. We were doing it at Angel Crespo's house. Shout out Angel Crespo. And I was like, Ryan,
No, that was This Day's Reckoning.
Oh, you're
Remember?
right. You're right.
Our first real song we put out.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So with This Day's Reckoning, which was another time that we tried to make
One of our
music,
shell bands.
that didn't pan out.
We've had thousands.
Yeah. Let's go through a Shotgun Apocalypse.
Shotgun Apocalypse. And then later, Watching
Great
the Watchers.
band name.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. We were 14 and 15, I think, when we came up with that name. That was before Watching the Watchers was actually a thing. Shotgun Apocalypse was actually our first idea. And, dude, it was like, at the time, it was all zombie movies and The Walking Dead was coming out. And we were like, Shotgun Apocalypse.
Probably
It's
the Devil Wears
cool.
Prada zombie
Exactly.
EP too.
Yeah, the zombie EP had come out
Exactly.
from Devil Wears Prada.
Their best
so
work.
We had Shotgun
Facts.
Apocalypse. And by the way, most of these projects never even recorded a single thing.
We would record like half a song and then
Or just talk about it.
or just talk
They're
about
just
it.
we were
great
kids.
ideas.
Yeah, it was great ideas.
We were
that-
just little kids.
Exactly. Well, there was also we like for a day we had a band with Warren,
Exalt the Fallen.
Exalt the Fallen, and we recorded half of a song.
Yep.
And it never went anywhere. So
I was technically in a band with Chris Fox. Shout out Chris Fox and Kevin Fox.
Right.
True. Technically, I was in a band with them once, but I never recorded anything.
So we always wanted to do it.
We dreamed about it.
Yeah, we
desired it.
We never knew how to commit to it. We never knew how to make it sound right or sound good or whatever. And so it just it never really came together. But anyway, yeah, when we were recording the vocals for This Day's Reckoning, I told Ryan, I was like, you can't be in the room. I was like,
I don't think I was at the house. No, I was there. I was in the living room. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta
you're
go.
right,
I was like,
you're
you
right.
gotta go in the living room.
out.
Yeah.
I just felt like
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it is. It's just really weird for whatever reason. But this time around, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'll do whatever. But so I thought it would be cool to rattle off some of our favorite metal bands so that people can get the general vibe.
Like now or all time?
All time.
Okay. You
So
go
I'm
first.
gonna let's try to each throw out 3 of our all-time favorite, and we can go one by one. Or
Oh,
whatever.
that's tough. Yeah, let me go last or second.
I'll go first. The band that I would say the band that I was first into that kind of brought me into the metal world was Killswitch Engage.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Killswitch Engage, they're like, what would you call them? They're like, I would say like typical metalcore or
it's like opera
twist.
metal.
That's a good point.
It's very operatic.
It's like, maybe like melodic metalcore.
Yeah. Melodic metal.
But you know what, man?
It's very pretty, harmonies and.
Yeah, but and I think the thing that probably drew me to them the most was their lyrics were always so positive and uplifting and like empowering.
It wasn't Christian technically, but it was like kind of like that positive and happy ending.
Also,
spiritual
now
vibe.
knowing what I know about like esotericism and this kind of stuff, going back and listening to their lyrics, it's like some of it is very mystical. Like it's more on the mystical side than the Christian side.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jeremy, you have one in mind?
It's hard to narrow it down to 3 because it's like several stages of my life. I had this one, like this band, it meant so much to me, and like it still does, like at that point in my life and at this point in my life and that. But if I had to say like the first band that gripped me into the genre, that really like that cemented it for me that metal was my jam was August Burns Red.
Was
definitely, but there's a few others before that, but August Burns Red was the first like.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So if we're going by like that first band,
the most impactful,
that like hooked you into the genre.
Yes.
For me, it was Devil Wears Prada.
That's awesome. You know what's funny? You'll remember this, I'm sure. At first, like when we all first started hanging out, I hated August Burns Red and Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, you did.
I was all like, me. I don't know why I was...
Snob.
Yeah, it was something like that. I was like, oh, dude, the production's not as good as Killswitch Engage. Or like, whatever stupid gripe I had with it. But like very quickly, I got over that. And I was like, you know what? This kind of actually slaps hard. I remember we were swimming at my house one time. And we had speakers around the pool. Mm-hmm. And Dad had like a thing where we could hook our iPods into it, and Ryan was playing, I think it was August Burns Red, and I was like, "Is this August Burns Red?" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay, this is pretty good.
This is pretty poppin'."
August Burns Red was my second one, and August Burns Red and like the drumming, and the style of it was what inspired me to actually learn the instrument.
Right. What was it about August Burns Red that really gripped you, Jeremy? Do you remember?
The I can't remember his name. Jake, the front
Jake
man.
Lurs.
Jake Lurs.
Yeah, Jake Lurs.
His vocals are nasty.
Yeah, he was like composure.
He's good.
Blew my mind when I first heard that. Honestly.
Did you hear the remake of it?
No.
Dude, they remade Composure and Whitewashed.
Whitewashed was also one that blew my
last
mind.
year.
Really?
Yeah, and
I'll go find that.
It's cool. It's just like updated, sound. Like the production is higher quality, but they re-recorded it. They didn't just like
That's
remaster
amazing.
it.
So it's like as his vocals change over the years, it's gonna.
But also,
change different.
Originally, August Burns Red, their first 2 albums, Messengers and Constellations, it was all drop C tuning on the guitar. When they redid them, they're in drop B, which is lower. So it sounds a little heavier.
Grungier, yeah, that's cool.
They had albums before that.
Yeah, what was that one called with the elephant?
The Elephant, I don't know, but the other one was called
Seeker.
Thrill Seeker. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so 3 albums because that one was also
The Elephant one was like an EP thing, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like way heavier.
And different. It was It was a very different vibe.
Yeah.
Thrill Seeker slaps.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so what really drew you into Devil Wears Prada then?
Okay, so like before I got into Devil Wears Prada when I was a freshman in high school, and like before that I already kind of liked this kind of music, but I felt like I wasn't at a level of maturity to I don't know, like, as you get older, sometimes, especially as a young kid, you get hooked to things and you grow up, and then, like, how teenagers are. They get obsessed with things.
Yeah.
And, like, I liked bands before that. Like, I Killed the Prom Queen. I liked Suicide Silence when I was 12 and, like, really heavy stuff. But I think when I heard the Devil Wears Prada, it was the singing. It was the heaviness of it. It was the vocals with Mike Karonica. It was the first time I had heard somebody in one band do, like, really good highs and really good low strings. And the singing was fire. fire, and it was a Christian band, you know. So like I had all that Christian guilt as a kid, and I felt like I needed to listen to more Christian music. Something about it, man. Like it was just so good. It like I used to literally go to sleep playing that album every night. I was so obsessed with it.
Was the first thing you heard from them Plagues?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That was me too, because you showed me
It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Goats on a Boat was the first time I heard it. And I was like, this is amazing.
I like the other album, the second album. The
Roots Above and Branches Below.
Yeah. It's their... Yeah.
They had the Office reference in there too.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah. No, that album goes hard.
Legendary.
That album is a masterpiece. Yeah, I think though what you said earlier, their peak was the Zombie EP.
Absolutely, I agree.
It was like the perfect blend of the heaviest parts of Devil Wears Prada, and also like the really cool but somehow eerie, like clean vocals.
I just remember playing like multiplayer Left 4 Dead as the berserker to that music and just like following people.
Yes, Left 4 Dead while listening to the Zombie EP.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it is. More specifically, the singing in the Plagues album was more like emo music at the time, because dude, this was like 2007 when everything was Panic at the Disco and all this emo, you know,
Fall
My
Out
Chemical,
Boy.
Fall Out Boy, all this stuff was so popular, and we're seeing it on MTV. And then it was the first time I heard that done really well, like in a heavy metal band. It just blew my mind.
Yeah,
blew my mind.
So I think my next one would be, I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Woe Is Me, because they honestly...
Very much so, yeah.
They honestly changed my outlook on metal.
Me too.
They threw a wrench in it, and were like, this can be... Because they were so groovy.
There's no rules.
There's no... Exactly.
It doesn't have to be rough and tough.
Exactly.
It
was like really pretty, but
emo.
also really groovy. Yeah, and the vocals reminded me of like Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
Or you know what
or
I'm
like
saying?
Michael Jackson.
It's like they went and really found a giga talented vocalist.
Oh, for sure. But
and Chris Carter, not Tyler Carter.
Tyler Carter, yeah.
Tyler Carter.
Like you're saying, like at that point, up to that point, it felt like most metal bands, the clean vocals were like emo, very emo.
Right.
Yeah.
A little whiny.
Yeah, a little whiny.
Not in a bad way, but that's just how
That
they
was
were.
Or yelly.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
Like Pierce the Bell type. And I love the Pierce the Bell.
Sirens.
And I still love Sleeping
all
with
that
Sirens.
stuff. Yeah.
Same.
Oh, dude, for
it's
real.
still very good. But yeah, when they came out and had that Michael Jackson, like Backstreet
Kinda
Boys,
pop, like,
poppy,
yeah, poppy.
I was like, you can do that?
Yeah, and
So-
make heavy music.
Yeah. So anyway, that was an honorable mention. My actual second one though is Periphery. Periphery.
I feel like that's your all-time favorite, though.
It may be. It honestly may be. Periphery was just like, that was my first introduction to what is called gent or like prog metal, which is, you know, it's complex, it's groovy, it's like, I don't even know if I would call it like heavy. I mean, it is heavy, but maybe a better word would be like aggressive. It's like really tight and fast, and it's like powerful, but it's like complex. They had all these crazy melodies. The singer from Periphery is also very operatic, like Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage. So that kind of helped me be like, oh, he sings like Howard Jones. That's sick. And they have influenced me a ton. So I mean, from the guitars, they have like everybody in the band is like the best at what they do.
Oh
like,
yeah, the Periphery is one of those bands to me, like Animals as leaders, that they're like their talent is on 100%, and it's borderline impossible to replicate.
Yeah,
it's like don't even try.
Don't even try.
They're on a category of their own.
Yeah, they really are. But like Matt Halpern, the drummer, is unbelievably good.
And fun fact, that's the sample we use.
Oh yeah,
it's the Matt Halpern Periphery
to
drum
bring it
sample
back
for
to
our
TWICEBÅRN,
music.
That's awesome.
Our drums, because Ryan has this amazing electric drum set that's so sick, and you can like pull other drum sounds to put it in there so that when he hits the drum, it makes that sound. So we actually bought Matt Halpern's like sample kit, and that's what we use on the TWICEBÅRN EP. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's mine. You got another one, Jeremy?
I want to give an honorable mention to what led me to August Burns Red was All That Remains.
Yes, dude, I forgot about them.
All That Remains.
I was really
that's
into
not my
them.
number 2 though.
Yeah, but
yes,
that's
All
a
That
great
Remains.
honorable mention. 2 Weeks. Dude, that song 2 Weeks. I remember the first time I heard that.
This Calling, bro?
This Calling. That was the first time I heard a chorus with like 16th notes, double bass.
Yes.
I was like, you can do that in a chorus? Like, what?
Yeah.
That's a fantastic honorable mention.
Weren't they didn't they have a track on Saw?
Yes.
Saw 2 or 3 or something
Yes.
like
The
that?
movie Saw.
I think it was 2 weeks. Oh, it was
It's
either.
either that or This Calling.
Yeah, it was one of those.
But my number 2 is Parkway Drive.
Oh,
Yes, dude.
Parkway Drive is probably like, it dominated my high school.
dude.
I really
like
liked
11th grade, 12th grade.
I
Parkway
really
Drive,
liked in the 8th grade when I was really getting into metal. I liked damn, what's the name of that band?
Was it Acacia Strain?
No, I never liked
You
them.
never liked them. No.
I just never got into them. I liked All That Remains. I Killed the Prom Queen. Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all remember them.
I do.
I don't. I never.
They're pretty good.
I never listened to them.
And
Aren't they
then I
like
really got
786
into All Shall Perish.
All Shall Perish.
Oh, My Bitter End.
My Bitter End.
My Bitter End.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're
those
good.
bands.
You also liked As Blood Runs Black.
Dude.
That was later in high school.
It
was
when I was
crazy.
older. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, Parkway Drive. Oh, interestingly, Parkway Drive, their first like 3 albums were recorded by they were produced by the guitarist from Killswitch Engage.
Really?
Adam D.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
he
that.
produced them.
That's probably why I liked him so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're sick. They were probably the first band where I like really leveled up the heaviness. You know what I mean? Because they're heavy.
Like personally in
Yeah.
your tastes.
Yes, exactly.
Whenever I, like that, okay, August Burn Dread was what pulled me into the genre, like sucked me into it. There's a lot more that I liked, but Parkway Drive was the first time I heard a vocalist that I thought, like, if I ever could do that, I would want to sound like that.
That
Was the first.
Yeah,
that was
they were good.
That blew my mind. They blew my
So
mind.
let's move on from like past. What about now?
Yeah. Oh,
Like
favorite stuff now?
like
Oh,
as
yeah.
adults,
That's
like
what-
where we're at now.
That's where I was going to go next with mine, and it's easy. Honorable mention, I Am Abomination. Love that
Oh,
band
yeah,
so
yeah.
much. They are so cool. Mystical lyrics, amazing
Their
vocals.
music never ages.
Never.
No, it's really
never.
It's just as good now as it was when we were 15.
I love that band. But my current obsession and a band that completely changed my outlook on music in general, Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
Yep.
That's a long name. It's the band is called the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they're a mold breaking band that that's I've been realizing recently, like, one of my biggest draws to music, something that really pulls me in, it can this can be present in any genre of music, but you have to surprise me. I gotta not be able to see it coming.
Or not bore me.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, there are exceptions for sure, but like if I'm gonna be like really obsessed with music, like a band or an artist, you gotta give me something I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even if it's something I've heard before, just spin it in a way that I wasn't expecting, or throw it into a place I wasn't expecting, or something to that effect.
Right.
And like Danza, like they started that for me. You showed me them in high school, and I was like, how are they?
Honestly, I have an honorable mention. Shout out our cousin Grayson.
Yeah.
This is Warren's older brother. Because when we were all little kids in middle school, Grayson was getting into this music, and he put me on all of this stuff when I was in middle school. And like, dude, he expanded my little adolescent mind. He showed me Danza. He showed me Killswitch Engage, Devil Wears Prada, I Killed the Prom Queen, maybe Parkway Drive, August Burns Red. He showed me all of it. Suicide Silence. He was just putting me on, dude.
Silent Civilian.
Silent Civilian.
I don't know.
We were really into them
Yep.
when we were in like
That's
middle
probably
school.
the very first metal band.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't bring it. I didn't think nobody would. remember that one.
yeah.
He put me on to one of my like all-time favorite bands. I'd say they're definitely in my top 10. Counterparts.
Yeah.
He put-
yeah, that's right.
He put me onto them.
He was always just like a connoisseur of
Yeah.
like all that.
He's got great taste.
He does.
when it comes to metal music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was probably 2009 or 10, and he was
Yeah,
over, and
that checks
him and
out.
Warren were over, and they were like, "Yo, have you heard Counterparts?" It was their first ever album, that one with the song about Fallout on it. And I heard it, and I was like, "That's sick. That is sick."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So honorable mention there. But
You got a third?
Modern day, it's really hard because like I'm so
It is.
torn. I've grown into instrumental metal music, like Polyphia and
Intervals.
And Intervals.
You
and
put
other
me onto
things.
Intervals,
Yeah,
bro.
Intervals.
They slap.
Pretty good. Like, Jason Richardson and stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's like a traditional metal band, I would have to say it's one between After the Burial or Born of Osiris.
Oh, yeah.
Those are both incredible bands. I was kind of expecting you to say Veil of Maya because
I love Veil of Maya.
Yeah.
But
Veil of Maya,
they kind of had like a
one of my
vocalist
all-time
change,
favorites.
and it kind of like it's just not the same. They're still really good.
I feel like before the vocalist change, old
They're a little
Veil of
heavier.
Maya was like
Heavier,
peak.
and, yeah.
For me, my taste.
For sure.
It was peak, bro. Like Enter My Dreams is one of my favorite songs of all time. And like that album, the Eclipse album, and then the vocalist changed, and I feel like they're still trying to figure out what they sound
Yeah,
like.
but I still listen to their new music though.
Same.
Like their new song that just came out. I can't remember the name of it. Flames.
It's not synthwave vegan, is it?
It is.
Oh yeah,
they have like
Yes.
2 or 3 more out since that.
Outrun
I didn't know that. I
is
didn't know
another
that.
one.
No. They have like 2 more out since Synthwave Vegan on a new album that's coming out this month.
Let's go. I didn't know that.
Dude.
They have more music since that.
Cool.
So I was never super into them before, but starting with like Matriarch and going forward,
The new vocalist.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is sick. But After the Burial, oh my God, they are so sick. Born of Osiris as well. But yeah, those are all very worthy of being mentioned
For
in these
many,
lists.
many years, Born of Osiris was like my very favorite band.
They're so sick. dude.
Very esoteric lyrics, by the way.
Oh yeah, super
Very
esoteric.
esoteric lyrics.
Born of Osiris.
Right,
you know?
right. Similar to kind of our name.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to mention, by the way, the reason that I came up with the TWICEBÅRN name was because of something that happened with another band. Y'all remember Hands Like Houses? Mm-hmm. They got their name from a Woe Is Me song. So I was like, oh, that's cool and out of the box. They took like a lyric from one of their favorite bands and they did that. And then I was listening to Ivy and Wine by Glass Cloud. God, they should. Honestly, Danza and Glass Cloud are kind of the same slot for me because
It's the same.
It's
mind.
Joshua Travis.
It's the same guy, yeah.
Yeah,
that's basically the same thing.
That's really my third slot is just Joshua Travis, the guitarist. But anyway, I was listening to Ivy and Wine, and he says TWICEBÅRN in that song, and I was like, oh, that's it. That's the name of the band. Like, yeah, I got that idea because of the whole Hands Like Houses, Woe Is Me thing.
Right.
What's your third?
I didn't even do my first modern one. I didn't do any of them.
No, that's the third one is the modern one. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Darko.
Yeah.
I love Darko, and I'll tell
they're
you
sick.
why. It's more than just because they sound so good. I was so inspired by Darko because when I was a kid, like 17, I was obsessed with the movie Donnie Darko. Mm-hmm. I watched it like 7 times, and I love that movie. And I remember I was on Reddit one day, and I don't really get on Reddit much anymore since we do the podcast. I'm trying to do so many other social medias. But I was looking on like the deathcore or something, some metal subreddit to discover new bands. And I saw somebody posted an article saying Emir drummer and Chelsea Grin vocalist form new duo project Darko. And I was like, whoa, I loved Emir as a kid. I didn't really like Chelsea Grin as a kid because they scared me because they had like really gory, album covers.
Yeah.
But I knew the band and I knew they were a big deal. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I want to check this out. And I turn on the song Insects. So the name got me, the drummer and the vocalist, and the fact that it's just 2 people. Mm-hmm. And in my mind,
It's
I'm
inspiring in a way.
in my mind, I'm like, this is what me and Nick are trying to do. Mm-hmm. So I turn it on and I heard one song by them, and it was so good. It blew my mind knowing that it was all written and created by a drummer. Because shout out Josh Miller from Darko. He is a drummer first. He's been playing guitar for like 3 years. And it just blew my mind as a drummer, like this music is rhythmically driven, and it's different. It sounds different. It just hooked me. It changed my tastes. It changed my outlook on things, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, no, they are absolutely one of those like mind-blowing, mold-breaking bands. Like the first one I heard from them, I think, was Dragon Chaser.
Oh,
Which to this
that's
day,
their most popular song.
Which I told Tom when he was here, I was like, that's that's my favorite song. And he was like, me too.
And obviously, shout out Tom.
Yeah,
He's the
of course.
vocalist. He's a very good friend of mine.
Big shout out, Tom.
We should be having him on the show very soon when he gets off tour.
Yeah.
But actually, that's funny. Quick little side note. I had been following them on Instagram, and I reached out to Tom, the vocalist of Darko, and
Chelsea Grin.
And yeah, obviously in Chelsea Grin, but he really messes with Darko. It's
dude.
his baby.
Yeah,
it's his little baby. You know, Chelsea
Passion
Grin,
project.
It's his passion project.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And dude, the new Chelsea Grin stuff is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty smack.
Anyway, so I reached out to him on Instagram, told him, hey, I'd love to have you on our podcast. He sends me his phone number immediately through email and is like, call me. Because I was like, you know, guest spot for Sick Conspiracy Podcast. I sent a message saying, like, here's my dad. Here's who I am. You can Google it if you're interested. I would love to have you on our show. And within 30 minutes, we're talking on the phone and we're finding him plane tickets.
Yeah.
He flies out and we hit it off, dap it up. We hang out for like a week. He has experiences, and now we're like really good friends, and it's mind blowing sometimes, and I still can't process it. So, honorable mention, Darko, Chelsea Grin.
True.
And here we are.
Yeah, for sure. So that's us geeking out about our metal obsession for a minute.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna throw a little curveball. So we're gonna talk about the EP now. We're gonna talk about
we'll move on from all the tastes and stuff.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about the TWICEBÅRN EP that just came out last Friday from when you're hearing this. The EP is called Mythos. We knew, I mean, come on, you guys watched the show. We knew that this was all going to be dripping with esotericism and mysticism and, you know, all that cool stuff or whatever. But really early on, we had, I think it was because, like, you know, the name was called TWICEBÅRN. The first song that we did, the first song that we made, which is the first song on the EP that you guys may have heard, it's called Amethystos. And at that point, I didn't know that we were going to make an entire EP about different gods from different mythologies, which, by the way, that is the theme of the album. It's kind of a concept EP. Every song is about a different god from a different mythology. But at first, it was just like, oh, we're called TWICEBÅRN. Let's make a song about Dionysus.
Right.
That'd be cool.
The twice-born son of Zeus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where the name comes from. TWICEBÅRN is a title that was given to Dionysus because he was like born prematurely because his mother was killed by the Titans, I believe.
I think so.
And Zeus, you know, who is Dionysus' father, Zeus wanted him to survive, so he cut open his own thigh, Zeus did, and sewed Dionysus into it so that he could continue to grow. And then when he came out, he was like twice born, you know? He was born twice. But anyway, we wanted to make a cool song about Dionysus. So I did some research about mythology, different stories about Dionysus and whatever. And I found this one super, super interesting one about a woman named Amethystos. And obviously, that caught my eye immediately because Amethystos.
Crystal reference!
Yeah!
We haven't made one in like 50 episodes.
Yeah, we're bringing the crystal references
They're back, baby!
Yes, for this episode, and this episode only. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, we had been doing the podcast, and I was like, you know, we'd been talking about crystals and all this stuff, and we'd been going to buy crystals and whatever. And I was like, oh my God, there's a story about crystals with Dionysus. So that's what the song is actually about. What we're going to do for the rest of the episode is we're going to talk about each song and kind of the mythology behind each song, the symbolism behind each song, and maybe give you some little fun facts or whatever. So, Amethystos. It is the story of how the crystal amethyst came about in Greek mythology. And essentially, the story is there was this like acolyte or worshiper of the goddess Artemis, and her name was Amethystos. And if you don't know about the Greek god Artemis, one of her big like kind of champion traits or whatever is like celibacy, is like abstinence. You know, it's kind of like keeping your power to yourself, you know, and through doing that. And so in the myth, this acolyte, this Amethystos, she worships Artemis, and she respects that about Artemis, that she abstains from, her desires or whatever. She's celibate. So she wants to emulate that. She wants to be like Artemis. So in the myth, she's traveling through the woods, and she's going to make an offering at an altar of Artemis. And on the road to the altar, Dionysus comes down from the heavens, and he's basically like, yo, what up? You're hot. You want to give me a baby? And she's like, no, I'm good on that. Like, get away from me. Because if you don't know about Dionysus, one of the things he is the god of is wine. He actually created wine in Greek myth. So he's always drunk.
Fun fact real quick.
Yeah.
We did talk about this on our Orphism episode. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's just called Orphism, way back. But the reason that the ancient Greeks called the crystal amethyst was because I believe the word amethystos meant purple, right? And the wine at the time was traditionally from purple grapes, so it was purple, and they, Dionysus, purple wine.
Well, that factors into the story.
Oh, okay.
And it's also in the lyrics too. You guys can read the lyrics. Each song is like an actual myth from one of these characters for the most part.
Yeah. There's one exception there.
Yeah.
We created a myth.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But that comes into play. So anyway, she's going to make this offering. Dionysus comes down. He's all drunk. He's like trying to, he's like, I want to have a baby with you, blah, 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 all this stuff. And she's like, I'm good on that. I worship the goddess of the half moon, who is Artemis. And so whatever. This infuriates Dionysus because he's got a big god ego, like, well, you don't like me, whatever. And he tries to kill her. He's like, you're going to regret that. He literally sends like tigers to kill her, and like he makes like the vines around her, like
he's tricked.
Yeah, he tries to kill her. She's running from him. She's trying to run away and get away and whatever. And as she's running and he's chasing, she prays to Artemis, like, save me. I can't, like, I don't want him to take this from me. I've been doing this for you. I've been like empowering myself in worship of you. Don't let him do this, to me, whatever. And Artemis, in an effort to save, because I think, this is just speculation, Artemis, I feel like she was kind of like, I can't take Dionysus. I don't think I could take him. He's crazy powerful, which is true. He's extremely powerful. So in an effort to save Amethystos's purity, she turns Amethystos into a quartz statue. She's like, he can't get you if you're a giant crystal. So she turns Amethystos into a quartz statue.
You're saved.
Yeah, and also dead.
You lost your life though, but
your
cool.
purity.
So how did the purple come into play?
This is how. So when that happened, Artemis kind of like scolded Dionysus and was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why would you do this? Like she was trying to remain pure in worship of me. Like, why would you try to take that away? Blah, 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 all this stuff. And he was completely racked with guilt. It was like one of the first moments that Dionysus in Greek myth like kind of has a heart. It's where he starts, this story is kind of where he starts to go from like just this drunken, rageful god into somebody who is more compassionate and whatever. So he was racked with grief because he's like, I did this. This is my fault. And so he took his flask off of his hip and he poured it on the statue and it turned purple.
So I looked it up. The word amethystos, translated from Greek from mythisko, meaning intoxicate. So that's why they named the crystal, the ancient Greeks named it amethyst, because it's intoxicate, but it's the wine, the purple wine of Dionysus. And worshippers of Dionysus would hold amethyst. So the name comes from a Dionysian reference.
Yeah.
I had it backward. It doesn't mean purple.
That's sick. I mean, I didn't know that specific part, but yeah, so that was the story. That's the story of Amethystos. And after we made Amethystos, then we were like, yo, what if every song on the EP is like a different god from a different mythology, And let's get real weird and esoteric with it.
Yeah.
Let's make the title of every song the Greek name for a crystal. Let's follow the pattern. Let's make a pattern here. If we're going to call this one amethystos, let's keep doing it.
Before we move on to the next song, I do want to say for the name, to me personally, the name TWICEBORN is 3 layers. Which one of those layers is kind of undone. It's more than just a reference to Dionysus. But if you study, like the Orphic interpretation of Dionysus, which is not just I really want to reference the Orphism episode here because it explains a lot of Dionysus and the symbolism behind it and what it actually meant to the ancient Greeks. And you had 2 versions of that. You had the Hellenistic mainstream Greek religion where, like what we're talking about here, they had these myths and stories that weren't actually true. They were just metaphors.
Yeah.
But then you had the Orphics, which were a secret society of enlightened Greek thinkers who understood the true meaning of these mysteries as esoteric metaphors. And Dionysus was more like a Christ-like figure, and their version of Dionysus was slightly different, and it was about reincarnation. Because Dionysus is struck down by the Titans or something like that, and then we talk about it in that episode, but they take the ashes of the Titans and they reincarnate Dionysus, and he's twice born again as Zagreus, remember? So to me, the name TWICEBORN also is a reference to reincarnation, because I believe reincarnation is the answer. It's the great truth that people need to know to be able to function at a minimal level spiritually. And then the third thing is we were a duo.
Yeah.
But that is now undone.
Which we're happy about.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. But that was the other layer, like TWICEBORN. There's 2 of us.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
You know what else is funny? Like, we had been joking around about, like, dude, we should make another band with Jeremy and call it Trismegistus.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 of us.
But it's fine.
That was our group chat for a hot minute.
Yeah, it was. And now it's TWICEBORN.
But it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Who
it's
cares?
cool. It's cool. We can have a song called
It's even
Trismegistus.
cooler now because TWICEBORN has 2 meanings.
Yeah.
Get it?
And it's still 2 people making the music.
Right.
With a vocalist.
With the vocalist coming in and gracing us with his spice.
He's Orpheus, bro. He's the one like telling the poems.
Well, it's like that band was born twice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, and a little comment to the thing that you were saying about Zagreus. There is a line in Amethystos you guys should look out for if you listen to it.
Zagreus.
Well, it's Nonus calls me Zagreus. Diodorus calls me Sabazius, because that was another name. And then the third one is, there are those who call me Bacchus, because the Romans called him Bacchus, called Dionysus Bacchus. And then it says, but you may call me Dionysus. And then that's like the breakdown, bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Amethystos. The second one that we released, and which is also the second one on the album. It was the first song we released, but it's the second song on the album, Kovalinis. A lot of people thought it was about Thor.
Yeah. And we just let them.
Yeah, who cares? They thought it was about Thor. Because there's all these, like, the lightning. It talks about, like, storms and lightning and
Kind of led him to it.
I honestly, yeah, a little bit. And I kind of had a thought, like, I kind of want them to think that it's Thor, because then if they dig just a little deeper and say, like, well, what about these lines? What are these lines talking about? It would kind of send them down a rabbit hole where they'd be like, maybe it's about...
Bro, there's Japanese symbols on the cover.
Right. Yeah. But so Kovalinis, which is the Greek word for kovalite, which is so cool because it's a crystal that is formed during lightning storms, which is why we chose that one. That is actually about the Japanese thunder god Raijin, which, shout out Naruto.
Shout out Minato.
Minato,
the fourth Hokage.
Shout out Minato.
Hey, look, Naruto learned the flying Raijin.
That's true, he did.
He learned the flying Raijin attack.
Raijin.
He did. I don't remember who he did it on. It might have been Sasuke. But anyway, this is not the Naruto episode, which will happen someday.
It should, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
It should happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, down the line, we got to do a One Piece episode with Jeremy. Anyway, so Raijin. This is the story of Kovalinis. This is the story that I chose from Raijin's mythology. The story, it takes place in like feudal Japan, feudal Japanese kind of times, on the island of Tsushima, which Ghost of Tsushima, that game is sick.
Amazing game.
Yeah. Have you played it?
No.
Oh, bro.
I didn't have a PlayStation.
Is it not on PC?
I think it is now.
I never finished it, but
It's amazing.
I've been dying to finish it because it is really.
I hear it's beautiful.
It is.
Oh, bro. You can
Captivating.
like sit down in the grass and like play a flute and like say haikus. You can like it's so.
You just like sit in hot springs and.
It's so cool.
I want to do that in
amazing.
real life though.
Yeah, that fast.
That was
yeah,
the
that
last PS4 exclusive. The last official
Shoot.
PS4 title, and then PS5 came out.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
It's kind of legendary.
But yeah, so
legendary.
it takes place on the island of Tsushima, and the cool thing is this one is an actual like real life story that kind of Japan wrote a mythology around. So in the I want to say 1400s or so, it was around that time. I could be wrong on the time frame, but Tsushima was being attacked by Mongols, by Mongol soldiers. Like fleets of ships. It happened twice within like a 2 or 3 year span. They were attacked twice. Both times that they were attacked, the ships never even reached the island because they were destroyed by like record breaking tsunamis, like unbelievably huge tsunamis that just absolutely eviscerated all of the ships. And so the way that Japanese mythology or Japanese myth explains that is it's because of the thunder god Raijin. He saved them, according to them.
That is called Shinto.
Shinto.
That's their myth system.
Oh,
Their
cool.
religious myth system.
Right.
Shinto.
So I looked into the myth of Raijin and I was reading about it, and there's this cool character called like the God Breaker or the God Killer or something to that effect, who essentially locked Raijin in a prison for like hundreds of years, like a really, really long extended time. But then when the Mongols came to attack, they were like, according to myth, they were like, well, shit, what are we going to do about this? They completely outnumber us. How are we going to do this? And they let Raijin out, which is why the lyric "No chain can hold me." Mm-hmm. That's why it's in the song. No chain can, because he was chained and whatever. And you know, he basically comes out of his prison. He sees that there's fleets of ships coming to attack the island that worships him, because they have statues of Raijin. They worship Raijin, and he's like, not on my watch. He's like, you're not about to come up here. And that's why that line is what was the line about, like sheep? Oh, try to take the sheep from my pulpit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's basically he was like, that was offensive to him. Like, oh, you're gonna come here and try to take the people that worship me. Let's groove. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, let's go.
So
like,
let's just slightly shift gears for a second. Mm-hmm. So we haven't even talked about like what's our sound like. So like, the reason we released Kovalinis first was because it's groovy, right?
Yeah.
It's upbeat. It's, got the Victor Wooten sample in there that makes people want to dance.
Yeah.
It's like, it's different from most metal.
Yeah. I was literally scrolling through TikTok and I saw a video of Victor Wooten. He's like, you don't dance because the key, you dance because you dance to the groove. And I was like, I'm putting that in a song. and so that's where that part came from. But yeah, we talked a lot about like, what's the first song we're going to release? We were thinking about Amethystos, but we were like, I don't know, whatever. But we were ultimately like, this is just a jam. Like, this is just such a jam.
It's not too heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
It is, but it's not like too heavy where more people I feel like could get into it.
Yeah, we kind of looked at it as one of our like it's very flashy and exciting.
Yeah.
And we were like,
it's groovy.
Yeah, we were basically just so into it that's what we wanted to release first, was that. So yeah, I mean that's the story of Kovalinis. It's about Raijin. It's not about Thor. But good guess, Hardcore Keem. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Hardcore.
Now this one's really exciting because this was where Jeremy came in. The next track
Katrini
on the EP was Katrini, which is about that one's super obvious because it says the Allfather in the title.
The Allfather.
It says Ragnarok and Gungnir and
that the lyrics,
Jotun.
Exactly, the Jotun's fall. Yeah. that one was like very straightforward. But yeah, we and the reason it's called Katrini, which by the way, that's the Greek word for citrine, which is a crystal that's associated with the worship of Odin.
It's also one of my very favorite crystals, and I don't always wear crystal bracelets anymore lately because I have so many around me, but I wear a citrine bracelet when I choose to wear crystals. It's
Nice.
the crystal of abundance, positivity.
Oh, another
wealth.
interesting little behind the scenes fact about Katrini is the week, it might have even been like the day before or something, but the week that we released Katrini, I literally found in my step grandmother's backyard, I found a raw citrine.
Wow, I remember that.
I looked it up. I cross-referenced all sorts of things. I looked at like what crystals are native to specifically like the Boone, Asheville area, you know, and citrine was one of the main ones because I was like, I don't know what it is. It could be anything. But I did probably an hour straight of just like finding out what it is, and it was citrine, dude.
What a great find.
I know. The week that the citrine song comes out,
I didn't know that.
it was weird. I called you and I was like, bro, what? You know, this is crazy.
So that song, I'm gonna switch gears before we get into like the myth of it, you know, because it is straightforward. I want to talk about Jeremy's involvement with that song. So we had already like released Kovalinis by the time this conversation with Jeremy even being a feature in the first place was happening. And at this point we had pretty much all of our songs recorded musically. Like, you know, we did vocals last.
We had
for
demos.
everything.
Yeah,
we had demos
of every song
to work with, like pretty fleshed out demos.
Yeah.
And like I think at this point all the drums, we finished recording drums in January.
Yeah.
So like at this point all the drums were recorded, and we were talking about it. What song do we want to put Jeremy on? I think he'd be in my head. I'm like, I think he'd be great on Obsianos, which happened anyway. And I thought about it. We knew we were going to release Katrini next. I was like, bro, dude, like Jeremy can do that filthy thing, that scream, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
That
The
gobbler.
snarl.
Yeah, the snarl.
The
The
Lorna
snarl.
Shore
Yes.
snarl thing.
Jeremy has a very like Lorna Shore kind of style, which is like,
Shout out Will
thank
Williams.
God. Yes, Lorna Shore is one of those. I don't mess with like their low key like really dark vibes.
Yeah.
But musically,
Yeah.
they are peak.
Filthy.
They're filthy.
Yeah,
they are
they're filthy.
amazing. I don't do what you will with that. But yeah, Jeremy kind of has a Lorna Shore vibe in my opinion. And I was like, dude, at
Thanks.
the end of the Ragnarok part of Katrini, that would be perfect to introduce Jeremy, you know? And, you know, it's just so chaotic and Ragnarok is happening. And I've always kind of had this feeling. Jeremy has made comments to me throughout us just, you know, being so close and talking every day. He's always made comments to me. I feel like my archetype is the sage that sits in the wilderness and kind of like is on his own, but then when he comes out, he's ready to pop.
Yeah.
And that's Odin.
Well, dude, when we were talking about what song to put you on, I was like, when I look at Jeremy, I just feel Odin's presence.
Yeah,
I just feel like you're
hyping me up right now.
well, really, that's what I told him. I was like, he just like seems like Odin to me.
That's cool.
And so we did it. So what was your feeling about doing it when we first mentioned like, yo, we want to have you on a song, when we want to do it? Like, what was going through your head?
Well, at first I was like obviously on board, you know, and like I was on board, but I was also apprehensive because I've never done that in front of anyone ever, just in like my car for countless hours.
Yeah.
And I don't even hear it because it's drowned out by loud music and the windows down, you know, so I had no basis to judge myself on.
Yeah.
So it was like just a good opportunity to try something new and, you know, maybe learn something about myself.
Yeah.
And experience, like try and just be creative in a different respect than I have been my whole life. So I just jumped on the opportunity for sure, but definitely was nervous. Like 100%.
I love that though. Like you're like, I just want to try something new. And like you've always loved metal music and you've always made comments about how you want to try to, you know, do something with it. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So where were your nerves like 1 to 10?
Dude, they were pretty high.
Really?
I mean,
It didn't show.
I have a great mask. I put on a mask very well,
Damn.
but I was pretty nervous about it. I'd say like for me, what's a 10? Is that like panic attack?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't at a 10. I was probably at a solid 6.
Okay.
And that's high
pretty
for me.
nervous.
Yeah, like I've never had a full blown panic attack before,
Sure.
but I've, you know, Yeah, I was pretty freaking nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it go away that day, or was it?
No.
Yeah.
It went away, like it really went away after the second song.
I had a similar feeling when we were recording Mythos, because that's the first song that I ever recorded live drums on. And I remember when we recorded that, it took us like 4 hours of me trying to figure out what to do, what's right. And I still don't know if you know, I still have that feeling of self-doubt or whatever.
You
because
gotta quit that.
I know, but
you
like
popped off.
But in that moment, I remember it was kind of major for me because you said you're awakening. Nick's been playing music in front of people your whole life.
Pretty much.
I haven't. Jeremy had. I played at church, at little gospel music, little basic beats.
I turn pale when people start looking at me.
Yeah. So like, it's a little harder for us to kind of like come out with that, and so like I had a similar feeling recording Mythos the first time. It's nerve wracking. It's new.
It's definitely nerve wracking. But having people saying like, "Hey, that was sick," like, "Dang, that was dope."
Oh, dude.
Just simple, just that simple will be good enough for me to keep going.
Yeah, I always, anytime I work with anybody recording music, it's like literally only positive vibes, like only positive vibes. And if you need to retake a line or something, I'll let you know. But like, I'm not gonna be like, "Nah, that was trash. Let's do it again." I'm gonna be like, "Yo, you sound so sick. Maybe let's try and spin it this way a little bit."
Every time we record everything, it's fun. It doesn't matter what it is.
Why? You know why that's so important is because music is a psychic medium. We talk about this all the time. And the way to really unlock that, in my opinion, is you have to be in like a state of joy and glee and like really fully
comfort and peace.
Yeah.
Your music's definitely
good
gonna
vibes.
reflect your mood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
So yeah, from the first take, everybody in the room, Ryan, me, Warren, we were all like, our jaw was on the floor when Jeremy did his first take. We were like,
Yeah, because Warren went first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we
right.
recorded a different song.
And I walked in the closet and I just had to put I'm pretty sure I put a hood on. I don't know.
You did. You had a hood on.
I just had to hide. Hide in the closet.
Hey, man. We were looking at each other like, whoa.
Yeah, I had chills.
Found a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, it was so sick. And from that point, I immediately was like, Jeremy need to be in the band for real.
Well, I'm down.
I'm glad you loved it. I'm glad you really enjoyed doing it. And, the fact that you were nervous the entire way through your first time and you still delivered such a sick performance is kind of mind-blowing. So I'm so stoked that you decided to give it a shot because it's hard to like come out of your comfort zone, try something new in front of a bunch of people. Like I've literally never done this before. I get
Let alone in front of people recorded for other people to hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I'm still sometimes in disbelief when I hear it.
that's
me.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yes.
So when you heard the song back after it was done, what was going through your head?
It wasn't. You know how whenever you see a really pretty woman, you have to do the double take. I was
Yes.
like, God dang, that's me! Like holy, I can find myself in the gym like doing bicep curls to it and just really get into it.
Like that's me,
Like
dude.
dang, I can keep doing this. That's pretty cool.
That's so sick.
That's pretty cool.
I love that.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
dude! Are you
it's
kidding
dope.
me? You blessed our band with your presence, and like, it almost feels like it was kind of a missing piece.
Yeah, it does.
Stop.
It does
No,
now. It
I-
does now.
I really do feel like
Keep
that.
showering me with affection.
What is this? I honestly, fully, actually feel. I'm not just saying that, like. Because we've been so intimately making and hearing this music for over a year, and now that you're on it, it's like it really
It has more life.
It has more life. Yeah, it feels complete now. So I'm so glad that you decided to do it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because, like I said earlier, it's definitely something I can do and explore more about myself that I've never had the opportunity. I've had the opportunity. Mom tried her hardest to get me in piano and other things.
Yeah.
I just couldn't sit still long enough to do it. But fortunately, I don't have to sit still
You don't.
to scream and just howl on a mic.
Yeah,
so.
you can move all around. Yeah, that's a cool
like,
thing.
I just have energy. I want to get it out, and like that is a good way to do it.
Yeah, it feels kind of perfect. And as far as like the mythology / symbology on this song, it's actually super simple. It's literally just the story of Ragnarok. It's from the perspective of Odin, and he has all this weight on his shoulders of like he's the god of gods, he's the All-Father. He feels this burden of like of taking care of his people and all this stuff, but also he's very selfishly like he doesn't want it all to go away because he feels like he hasn't figured everything out yet. He's like you said, he's a sage. He's on this quest for infinite knowledge.
It's like why he gave up his eye. He wants that knowledge of the future and the prophecies, and he's trying to figure out if he can stop Ragnarok. But
Yeah. That's the first line.
The moral of the story: you can't stop destiny.
Exactly. That's the moral of that song. The first line is eye for an eye for infinite knowledge. He gave his eye for infinite knowledge, and that infinite knowledge showed him like you gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. Ragnarok is coming, and there's nothing you could do to stop it. So it talks about him exploring the world and reading all this esoteric, mystical stuff and studying all these, mystery traditions and stuff to try to find a way to stop it. And he thinks he's getting somewhere, and then that last breakdown hits, and it's like it was all for nothing. You're dead. Like that's it. You can't escape it.
Feels bad.
It feels bad. GG, son. Yeah. So next up, Obsianos.
Okay.
Which is
all right. Yeah. So this is a fun one. So originally, Nick's idea for this song, I don't know if you even remember this.
I do.
Was Loki.
Yeah, and it was originally
called Quicksilver.
No, it was Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold. Okay,
which,
you're right.
The Greek translation, it's pyrite.
It was pyrite.
It was
Pyrithous.
Pyrithous. Yeah, Pyrithous. Originally, it was going to be about Loki, but then when we made Katrini, I was like, oh, well, we can't have two Norse gods, so let's think of something else. Obsianos, by the way, in Greek is that's Greek for obsidian, which is
black crystal.
Yeah, it's a black crystal. It's like magma glass or something.
It's like it's like absorbing negativity.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, out of the box, what if we did something from the H.P. Lovecraft mythos?
Yeah.
Not a real religious myth, but like, fictitious horror myth.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick, we're like kind of over time. Is that fine? Like, can we just like go until we're done?
We'll just finish the songs and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, bet. Cool. So yeah, he was talking about the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, and I was like, oh man, that would be so sick. And so that became the theme. But interestingly, for whatever reason, this was by far the hardest song for me to write lyrically. Because we haven't mentioned that yet, but I write all the lyrics. And most of them come super easy. Kovalinis was like 30 minutes, I was done. Mm-hmm. Amethystos, I rewrote it a couple times, but it didn't take me very long. Couple hours maybe. Obsianos took me months and months.
It took you up until the night before we recorded it.
Literally.
Which was Easter weekend.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know why. I couldn't find the right angle. I didn't, I knew what I wanted the song to kind of be about, but I just could not figure it out for whatever reason. Yeah,
we had to like kind of storyboard that and kind of put our heads together and figure out, because it's not based on an actual myth, and there's like 100+ Lovecraft short stories.
Yeah.
We can't just base it on one, and we really had to storyboard like what's the angle here. We landed on like not making it strictly about the Call of Cthulhu or one story, but making it more so of an homage to the mythos.
Exactly.
So we're not in a box.
Exactly. I had thought about like making it about Cthulhu,
Dagon.
making it about Dagon. I had even thought about making it about Bloodborne, which is like in the vibe sort of, but I was like, it just none of this feels right or whatever. So I ended up writing a story, like writing a myth sort of, and essentially the song is like, it's a warning.
So yeah, let me say this really quick.
Oh yeah.
This song and the next two, and then continue. These next three songs are kind of like real messages.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure.
They have real messages to them.
They have like morals that I want people to like take from them. The first three are more just like strictly myths that already exist. And then the last three are more like they have strong morals to them. So the moral of this one is the danger of dabbling in darkness, in dark energy, dark magic, dark practices.
Anything left-hand path, dark occult.
Yeah. It's a warning essentially to that. And essentially the story that I came up with is it's like this worshiper or this like cultist,
This acolyte,
yeah, of some Lovecraftian entity, some Lovecraftian horror,
an eldritch knight,
an eldritch knight with 1,000 eyes,
a cosmic god, yeah, baby.
And they're a worshiper, and they've been doing this for a long time, and they've been doing the rituals, they've been doing the practices, this, that, and the other. They've seen some things, but they don't feel like they have really gotten what they ventured out to get. They thought that they would get this.
Obsessed with knowledge and seeing beyond the veil.
Exactly. They wanted like this proof that there's something bigger out there.
Because there is no satisfaction in the darkness. It's always a lust for more. And
yeah, there's never an end to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's endless, and it's like
no peace. There you go.
Yeah. And so basically, according to the myths of like Cthulhu, Cthulhu will reemerge on Earth when the stars align in the right way. It's like a specific constellation, something to that effect. So I kind of pulled from that, and I made it like, okay, so this is happening on the day or the night of that star alignment. So they think, oh, it's time, it's going to happen or whatever. So they're at this temple, and they're performing their like ritual to welcome this entity to Earth, which like, they don't truly know the intention of this entity. They just know that they're going to come and they're going to change the world and make it what they think is better or different, or whatever, unlock some new power or knowledge or something to that effect. And it's not happening. Nothing's happening. They're like doing everything they think they're supposed to do, and nothing is happening. So this person who feels that they've had so much invested in this, and they've sacrificed so much, and they've given so much of themselves to this, and is now not seeing anything, becomes enraged and frustrated, and like feels betrayed, and like, they're really panicking, and like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this happening? And as like a last ditch effort to just really try to make something happen, they decide to make a human sacrifice. They want, because I actually pulled this from something we talked about on a Bledsoe Said So episode, which we were just like, I think it might have been the Valentine's Day episode. I was like asking like, what's the deal with sacrifice? Like,
yeah,
like,
we had a whole bit.
Yeah, like
we condemn sacrifice.
Yeah. I was just like why was that ever a thing? And Ryan kind of explained like, well, it's like a huge influx of power. It's like a huge influx of energy. Like
it's like a spiritual combustible.
Yeah, or a catalyst.
Yeah,
or so people would do that during rituals as like a big explosion of energy to try to catalyze something. So I was like, that's really dark and fucked up, but it's interesting. It's
also believed that blood is a spiritual currency in these dark practices.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, well then that would make sense to me. If this person is really desperate to do this, and they know these occult, like these dark, magic occult things, like that would make sense. Like they would probably want to go to that length to try and make something happen. So that's where the line of the song Obsianos comes in. Sacrifice, plunge the knife to catalyze the summoning of an eldritch knight, a cosmic guide with 1,000 eyes. Behold the long night. Because they're desperate. They're just like ready. They're like, I have to see something, or it's all been for nothing. And so they do it, and then still nothing is happening. They're like, are you kidding me? Like, this is all bullshit. It's not real. It's not, none of it must be real. I did everything I was supposed to do. I even did this to try and speed it up, to try everything to make this happen, and it just didn't happen. And then the final like climax of the song, the big moment at the end is it worked. Mm-hmm. And the entity appears, and the I wouldn't call them a protagonist, but like the main character of this story is like instantly filled with dread and regret, and they're going insane. It's pulling their sanity.
That's the big thing in the Lovecraft stories is when they see these entities, it drives them to insanity.
Yeah. And they had actually already been slowly going mad or insane. There are some lines before that where they're having like hearing voices and, you know, their vision is changing and weird stuff like that. But when this happens and when the being emerges, it's what is the line? Something about
all I see is cosmic horror.
No, just prior to that. It's
something about the veil. I got to think about it.
Yeah. Then the veil begins to fall, or as the veil begins to fall. How am I forgetting my own lyrics? But then it's like consciousness is wearing thin. That like or consciousness is leaving me. That's what it was. Consciousness is leaving me because like they're literally. It's like it's almost like they're on a DMT trip. It's like
ineffable.
Yeah, and they're just freaking out. And so consciousness is leaving me until all I see.
Now, there are 2 lines in all 6 of these songs that I wrote only because they came to me as downloads. And I was talking to Nick, and I was like, for each song, I was like, "Yo, this came to me. If you can use it, that'd be cool." And here's
the thing. Another thing about the way I make music is, one, I got this from Rick Rubin. Number one, you try every idea. You try everything. And number 2, my philosophy was if Ryan gets something, if something comes to him, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. So both times you came to me, I was like, yeah, I'm putting it in 100%.
So it just came to me immediately. I can't like write all lyrics and all that because there's a lot more to it than just writing poetry. There's vocal patterns.
Yeah,
there's cadences.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's not simple. And it came to me. All I see is cosmic horror. And in my mind, it was like Cthulhu or some eldritch deity rising from the depths. Usually they come out of the water, you know, in Lovecraft stories. And it was the person going mad, and all they see is cosmic horror. The song is called Cosmic Horror. We have a Bledsoe Said So episode called The Cosmic Horror, which I highly recommend people watch if you're listening to this and this tickles your pickle and you haven't heard that episode yet. And hey, be mature.
Okay. Sorry.
But we have this fascination with cosmic horror, and that phrase is just so sexy.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? And all I see is cosmic horror. You know what I mean?
Like, and originally it was just going to be that line repeating, but I was like, it would be cool to put a little spin on it.
Oh no, you made it like 15,000 times better with what it became.
Yeah. So it's like consciousness is leaving me until all I see, and then it's like this boom, and it goes into the final chaotic part of the song where it's me and Jeremy both screaming at the same time. Because for the rest of the song, it's like back and forth, me, then Jeremy, then me, then Jeremy, then me. And the last line is, it's all I see is cosmic horror, trapped within a realm of torture. All I see is cosmic horror, betrayed by the great defrauder. So it was like I wanted to really drive home that like this person is feeling betrayed. Like they put all their faith and all their stuff into this, and they just completely got fucked by it. Like they should never have messed with the dark side of things, you know? So that's like the final line. But Jeremy and I had so much fun recording.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Let me ask you this. So when we started recording that one, were you nervous?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, like the nerves kind of they subsided after that recording, after Obsianos.
Yeah.
And at that point is when I texted Ryan and said, "Hey, yeah, I could probably do that in front of a crowd. I could do that. It wasn't that bad."
We recorded those vocals in my living room.
Right.
We like set the mic up, like literally the mic that Jeremy's using right now. We set that mic. These are the mics that we use to record the vocals. We set it up in the living room and we did it.
Yeah, I just felt so bad for your neighbors.
Yeah, who cares, man?
Yeah,
Who cares?
It's daytime. There's no quiet hours during the day.
I was just kidding. Who cares?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, we had a blast doing that one.
Yeah.
And
that one is
like, what are they doing?
Well, it is a horror song, so it's definitely like
probably the heaviest.
Definitely. It's like the scariest vibe. I love horror films. I love scary music. I don't like when it actually has a dark message because I'm older now. I'm mature. I'm spiritually wiser, and I don't like. I like positive, uplifting lyrics, but I like that sound, that ominous sound. You know, I'm drawn to it.
That was
why I love horror movies.
Yeah, that was was kind of the whole point. Like, I knew going into this, like, none of these lyrics are going to be promoting anything dark because that's not what we're
that
about.
could harm people's consciousness.
No way.
Yeah, because that's real, man. Like what you put out to people and subconscious programming and like that's I'm glad that
I was like, if we're gonna do a dark, scary song, it needs to be about staying away from the darkness.
right.
And that's
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, man. I'm positive vibes only.
I mean, I appreciate the fact that we can do that, but like feel like it's for a point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We, like Mace Windu, like we can dabble in it, but like, don't mess with that. Trust me, I've been there.
So
you don't want to go there.
Yeah, for sure. So the next song is like, it kind of became like our friends and family
It's
song.
a super band song.
It's the super band song. It's called
Alex is even on it.
Yeah, Alex is on that song. And also shout out Alex. I told him I needed a bass and he just like went and found one and bought it for us. And that came in clutch big time. So big shout out to you, Alex. That was very, very kind of you.
Thanks, Alex.
And it sounds amazing. That bass sounds so good. But anyway, this one's called Smaragdi. Smaragdi is the Greek word for emerald. And
now, what myth popularly is associated with emeralds?
maybe
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic 2.
That's not a myth. That's real.
That's reality.
The Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Yes, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So originally, it was just going to be about Thoth, but during the making of it and stuff, and during writing the lyrics and everything, I was like, but what if it was actually about Hermes Mercurius Thoth, like Hermes Trismegistus, and so it's about Thoth, but it's more specifically about
like the real esoteric literature.
Yeah, this is probably the most like mystical, esoteric song on the album.
It definitely is.
It's extremely. And this is the other line that Ryan came up with, the other download that he had. He just because originally I was like, dude, you should try to write the lyrics for one of the songs. And he was just kind of having a hard time with it, but he came up with this one really, really juicy, awesome line, which is the first line in the song. It's the very first lyric, which is, I came in the form of a man, wisdom revealed through my hands.
Yeah, and it's the story of Thoth, or Hermes in the Greek, or Mercury in Roman, are believed to be these, metaphorical gods or whatever. But in the real ancient esoteric past, people who've listened to Bledsoe Said So for 2 years now know exactly what we're talking about. It was a real person. But this is what the Masons talk about, the Rosicrucians, the Hermetic Order, the Golden Dawn, all of these secret society groups that are in the know in these wisdom traditions. They know that this is a real thing. There was a sage that came and revealed the tablets, or the knowledge of Atlantis.
The tablets refer to him as Thoth the Atlantean.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the wisdom of Atlantis.
Yeah. So the song is essentially, it's less of a myth, and it kind of is it's about that. It's about, Hermes or Thoth the Atlantean, kind of like coming back to Earth. And that's the other lyric. It says, came in the form of a man, wisdom revealed through my hands, traveled here from a faraway land as I have done again and again. Because he's reincarnated.
Yeah, as the sages through the ages.
Exactly.
That's not in the song.
The ages.
But,
yeah. He's coming back, so he brings them the knowledge. The gnosis, which is also in the song. And it's essentially just the story of like the collective consciousness, of detachment from materialism, of growing your spirit. One of the lyrics is, I speak in tongues of fire, spirit reaching ever higher, better things are to transpire. It's all about like raising your vibration, focusing on spirituality versus materialism, that kind of stuff. And then also, Emily's on the song.
Oh, yeah,
If you guys heard those beautiful, amazing, like Egyptian sounding, like singing at the beginning and the end of the track, that's Emily. Warren, who you guys probably saw his episode.
We got the whole freaking Bledsoe cast on the song.
Everybody. Our buddy Raven is on there.
Raven, yep.
Shout out Raven.
I'm even on it.
Yeah, Ryan.
I screamed like 2 lines, and I don't even scream.
Jeremy's on it because when we started doing it, we were like, "Screw it, let's just get everybody to try it out. Let's just
like the Rainbow song."
Exactly. Yeah,
Everybody's on it.
Everybody's on there. Yeah, and as above, so below is in it.
Yeah.
The lyric is as above, so below. From within, we begin to grow. It's all about this esoteric knowledge, and then the final thing that it drives home, the final lyric is fall into the infinite cycle, fall into the cycle, fall before the infinite cycle, and it's basically just like let go. You're gonna reincarnate over and over and over until you figure it out. So you might as well just fall into it. Just fall into the infinite cycle.
Let go.
Let go. Let go. That's the final like lyric of the song or whatever. So. That's Smaragdi. It was. I love it. I love all these songs. They're all, I'm so attached to them. And the last one, the last track on the album, it was another one that went through many iterations. The song is called Rose, the Mother, and originally, it's really about the divine feminine. We were kind of thinking like maybe it's about like Venus, or which kind of is what it is. It's sort of about Venus. Maybe it's about Aphrodite. Maybe it's who is it about? Whatever. And we kind of landed on it's about the divine feminine. Now something really interesting happened though. Also, Rose is rose quartz. It's literally called Rose in Greek, so it's kind of the least interesting title, but it's one of the coolest songs. I wrote this song front to back 5 times. Like instruments, lyrics, everything. I kept doing it over and over and over because it just wasn't right. For whatever reason, it didn't sound right. It didn't feel right. I would literally follow a thread all the way to the end and then just be like, no, that's not it. I don't know why, but that's not it. Mm-hmm. We knew, being that this song was about the mother or the divine feminine, that this was going to be our quote-unquote soft song, which we don't
have soft songs.
There's no soft song on the album,
but it's pretty.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be the pretty one,
it's
the melodic
vibey
one. Yeah, and so I was writing it, and then it was just the wrong vibe. It never was right, and I had the idea like, oh well, maybe let's get like weird with it. Maybe let's get. It can be melodic and pretty, but let's also make it like irregular and weird. So it's a weird time signature and all this stuff. The music is what it is, but the interesting thing that happened was with the lyrics, because this was another one that I felt I had to write it. Like I said, I wrote it 5 different times, and for whatever reason, on the last one, I just started getting downloads. Oh, by the way. This entire EP is downloads. Like the music is all literally just it would just come to me. I would hear it, I would record it. It was downloads. These lyrics, they just started flowing out of me, and I just wrote it and I wrote it fairly quickly, and then I kind of sat back and read the lyrics at the end, and I was like, "This is about Ryan's dad." I was like. This isn't even about like a specific goddess or entity, or I was like, this is literally about Ryan's dad.
Now here's the funny thing. This is not anything Nick has ever said to me yet.
No, but you didn't know that.
I didn't know that, but this is what I wished it would be because of the lady. But I never told you that, did I?
You did. You told me. You were like, maybe one of them could be about like the lady and my dad and all this stuff. And I was like, I mean, maybe, but we're trying to do like the mythology thing or whatever. But
but I let it go.
Yeah, and it had to be that way. It had to. It just came through me that way. So you don't know the lyrics yet.
I haven't heard the lyrics.
Right, yeah.
That's the last one.
We're recording this before the album is out, but you guys, it's coming out just after the album is out. But the lyrics are about someone, a protagonist, a man who is at his wit's end. He is desperate. He feels like he is spread thin. That's one of the lyrics is spread thin, The dissonance is imminent. I'm feckless, summing up to nothingness. He's like, he just feels worthless. He's like, I just can't do it anymore. And then the lyric is, I know, what if I grow? I know, what if I grow, but what if I don't? It's like he's like just full of doubt, and he doesn't know where he's at in life, and he feels like a failure, and he's just so down on himself. The chorus is, the lyric is, it's all too much, it's become a trudge, sing me to sleep, because he just wants it to be over. He's done. He doesn't want it anymore. It's too much. It's all too much for him. He's over it. He wants to die. He really does. And then in that moment of desperation, that final cry out, like, sing me to sleep, finish it, I'm done, the lady appears before him and tells him, you can't stop. This is too important. You're too important. You're worth it. You're a being of light. You're a being of love. You haven't failed anything. You haven't failed at anything, because your true mission is to spread love and light. So you just keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna work. It's going to come together. It's all gonna be fine. And it's the protagonist is like gripping with that, like, okay, so what does this mean? Like, what am I supposed to do with this information? Like, what, and is still kind of having, like, is very encouraged by this, but is still like, why me? Like, why me? Why does this matter? Why, whatever. And is continuing to be encouraged by the lady, the mother, the divine feminine. And is reinforcing, like, I'm telling you, like, this is too important for you to give up. You can't give up. I won't let you give up. Like, you're too important to me. Like, you're not allowed to give up. And in the end, he realizes that, when it gets, like, super heavy at the end, mm-hmm. That's because he's still grappling with, like, yeah, but why me? What is this all about? And she's like, I'm telling you, you have a job to do.
This is your burden.
Get out there, shut up, don't be down on yourself. This is too important. Like, that's where that really, really heavy part is. And then the big crescendo, the big finish of the song is this really, like, equal parts beautiful. It brings it back to the chorus, but it's like a heavier version of the chorus, and it's because the protagonist is finally filled with power and drive, and they get it. They finally get it. And dude, I was freaking out when I read it, because I was like, I did not mean for this to be about the lady or Chris Bledsoe, but it is.
You almost made me cry there.
Dude, it wasn't me, man. It just came through me.
This is my first time hearing any of this.
Yeah.
Like, over 6 months ago, I was like, dude, it'd be cool if we made it about the lady. And he was like, I kind of want to make it about Venus. And I was like, respect. Mm-hmm. Like, that's totally cool.
Yeah. I've been saving this information for this episode.
That's amazing. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I never heard
now
that.
I really can't wait to hear the finished product now, which by the time this is out, I will.
Yeah.
But, we're recording like 3 weeks before this episode airs or something like that. And we have like the finishing touches to put on it right now in the present. So that's exciting.
I'll have the full EP completely done and submitted in the next like 72 hours. Like
amazing.
It'll be done like in the next 3 days. I need like 6 hours of work, and it's done.
That's badass, dude.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm super excited. But yeah, that was just I didn't expect it. I didn't see that coming. I didn't intend for that. It just happened.
Wow.
It just came out like that, and it was about.
Dad will probably like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He'll appreciate that.
Yeah. And so that's the whole album. That's Mythos.
That's a great place to end it, I think.
Yeah.
And
so that's the last
song. So for those out there who enjoyed this, thank you very much. Please follow our TWICEBΩRN socials. I think on Instagram it's TWICEBÅRN Band. Let me confirm that.
Mm-hmm. It is TWICEBÅRN Band.
Okay, TWICEBÅRN Band. You'll know it's us. It's also, if you follow me on Instagram personally, you'll see a link in there. Make it easier for you. Mm-hmm. Check us out. If you're not really into metal music, but you want to support us, tell your friends who are into metal music.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for everybody. We know that.
Of course.
But it's our passion. We're not ashamed of, you know, who we are and what we're into, and we're having fun with it. And
oh yeah, this is like our passion. So yeah, it's on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So if you feel like it, give it a listen. If it's not your thing, yeah, tell your friends about it. We put a lot of love, a lot of work into this, and we're stoked on it. And we're about to get to work on whatever the next project is, which Mr. Jeremy Bledsoe is going to be front-manning. He's going to be taking the lead, which...
That's going to be so fun because he hasn't been in the room when we recorded instruments yet.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing.
Wait for that, Jeremy.
We're going to do it all with you there because we need your energy.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I have a lot of energy to give.
We need you to be like an antenna.
I promise you haven't experienced this yet. It's fun when you've already recorded your parts and then you go to another session and you're just on the couch chilling while everyone else works.
Yeah.
It is.
It's so fun. Like watching y'all do
really
vocals.
Know that
because you always work.
Yeah.
Because you're the producer.
Yeah.
But like
which is fun for me though.
Yeah, for sure. It's all fun.
Yeah.
But like, dude, just sitting there on the couch watching y'all record vocals, I'm just chilling, drinking a little Monster or something, like, living the life. It's so fun. Thank you guys for listening. I know this isn't our typical, usual episode, but this is very real to us.
Yeah.
We're just having fun with it. So.
And thanks to Jeremy for joining the band and making it.
Thanks for the invite and giving me a voice.
Dude, you had the voice all.
I think you gave us a voice.
Yeah,
well, you're welcome.
All right, let's do it.
Let's hit them with the bye, guys.
3, 2, 1.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more, check out our other videos.
And before you go, don't forget to subscribe. See you next week. Peace.